How's it going? Have you guys ever seen a commercial for a DNA test and wondered, should I get that? Should I do that? Is that for me? Well, today I'm gonna answer those questions for you. For you. What I was told growing up was that the name Garner is German, although we're primarily Danish, Irish, Scottish, and English. My parents also told me that my grandma on my mom's side was 1/32nd Native American, which makes my mom 1/64th, which makes me 1/128th. So the way this DNA kit test works is they send you a box and you spit into a tube until you hit the fill line, and then you mail back your spit, and then they extract your DNA from your saliva. They'll test your DNA and they'll come back with hundreds of results. As you can see, I am 100% European, which is where I get my pasty white skin that will never tan, no matter how long and hard I try. 70.6% British and Irish, which my parents are right, I'm mostly British. French and German, 14.7%, my next highest, which is significantly less than British and Irish. Part Scandinavian, 1.2% Scandinavian, 0.7% Finnish, 12.4% broadly Northeastern European. That just means that they couldn't narrow it down exactly to where that part of my DNA came from. Southern European, only 0.2%, and then broadly European, 2%. So, was my mom Native American? I think she was. If I look at my grandma, I can see the Native American. So one possibility is that, you take some DNA from your dad and you take some from your mom. It could be that just down the line, that Native American DNA was just lost. It wasn't carried over from the parent to child. It could also be that it's still there, it's just small enough that it's not recognized by 23andMe. Or maybe 23andMe is just a hoax. My ancestry results really weren't that exciting. The exciting part for me was the health section. So 23andMe is different from most ancestry tests that you take. When I was considering which one to buy, I looked at a bunch of articles that went over which ones people thought were the best. And most had 23andMe and Ancestry as the top two. I went with 23andMe. It's a little bit more expensive, but it will show you your ancestry as well as health-related information. And the health information turned out to be my favorite part of the test, so I am glad I went with 23andMe. They also disclose that just because you're prone to getting a certain disease doesn't mean you're going to get it for sure. It's not a diagnosis. They'll test you for diseases that you are prone to yourself, and then they'll also test you for diseases that you could potentially carry and give to an offspring. There's 44 different carrier reports that they tested for. I didn't have any variants detected on any of them. So they test for a ton of different diseases on these carrier reports that I've never heard of before. Congestional disorder of glycosylation type 1A. Hereditary fructose intolerance. Man, that would suck. Fructose is in everything. Going through the health section for the first time was scary. So scary. You just have to remember it's not for sure. The cool thing about this, and also kind of the scary thing, is that they're constantly testing your DNA and they're coming out with new results for health risks that you might be prone to. On the health predispositions, they test for a lot of things like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. When I took the test, I came back with a disposition for two things. One is I have a slightly increased risk of age-related macular degeneration, which means that eventually with age, my eyesight's gonna get worse and could, if it's a severe case, go away completely. The other thing was type 2 diabetes, which I kind of knew. Diabetes runs in my dad's side of the family. I knew I had a 50-50 chance of having a higher risk for that one. And I do! Thanks, Dad, for the diabetes. The nice thing about these two is that there are things you can do to try to prevent them. So with diabetes, obviously eating things that are low in sugar and making sure that my weight is in check is going to help me in the long run prevent this from happening. And then for age-related macular degeneration, I can have regular checkups with an eye doctor. I can make sure I'm eating lots of vitamin A, things that will help my eyes. That is the cool thing about the health dispositions is if you let them show you what preventable diseases you're prone to, it gives you a chance to fight against those. The next most interesting report to me is the traits reports. These ones are really interesting. So my dad went bald before he got married, and he got married when he was like 22. So a lot of the guys in my family have had this fear of going bald, but none of us have. These trait reports will actually tell you if you're prone to early hair loss, which I thought was kind of cool. They'll tell you if you're likely to have back hair, dimples, cilantro taste aversion, cleft chin, dandruff, whether you have detached or attached earlobes, what type of earwax you have. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently I have wet earwax. If you're more or less likely to be afraid of heights, what your ice cream flavor preference is. I don't know how they get these things from your DNA, honestly. The weird thing about traits is they'll also tell you things that you already know about yourself, like your eye color, likely blue or green, that's true. It is interesting though, they were wrong on a few of these trait reports. Although on the traits reports, out of the 37 reports, there were only 2 that were inaccurate. And they do say they don't know exactly from your DNA whether you have black hair or blonde hair, but they can tell you what you most likely have. The 2 they got wrong with me is they said that I was more likely to have light hair, which is obviously not the case. The other one they got wrong is they said that I likely have detached earlobes. Mine are like extremely attached. This one is interesting. Asparagus odor detection. If you click on each trait, it will tell you more about what they were testing for specifically. With asparagus odor detection, it says, "Can you smell what I smell?" After eating asparagus, some people notice an unfamiliar odor in their urine. Whether you can smell the asparagus aftermath is influenced by your DNA. It says, "Joseph, your genetics make you likely to be able to smell the asparagus odor in your urine." What an interesting thing to be able to do. Next time you pee, get in real close and take a whiff. I've had some asparagus. Why do they test for this? According to this test, I should be able to, it's like my superpower. Unibrow. Likely at least a little unibrow. That's not true. Actually, yeah, that's true. It will tell you whether you're likely or not to move around a lot when you sleep. It'll also tell you if you're likely to be lactose intolerant or not. It will also show you your muscle composition. Joseph, your genetic muscle composition is common in elite power athletes. I'm an elite power athlete. For all we know, 90% of the population could have the muscle composition of elite power athletes. Sprinters and endurance athletes differ in their composition and capabilities of their muscles. These differences may be influenced by both training, decisions, and genetic factors. Genetic. There you have it, everyone. Honestly, I would recommend this to somebody. I thought it was really cool. I feel like I learned a lot about myself, and I feel like I know that there are things that I can do right now to avoid diseases that I'm predisposed to. I think it's a good idea. But you do you if you don't want your DNA out there somewhere in somebody else's hands. I know that freaks some people out. If you are thinking about getting 23andMe, it's $200. I got mine on Black Friday like 2 years ago, and it was $100 off. So if you wait till Black Friday, you could probably get the ancestry and the health information for just $100 instead of $200. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. But more importantly than subscribing is clicking the bell notification. So that way you're notified as soon as I post a video. Because who wouldn't want to watch my videos? I'll see you guys next time.